kind of thinking about putting up together a pumpkin diorama. I bought one of these, I think it's like a plastic or foam pumpkin. I did start cutting and opening. I'm using a Dremel tool with a cutting blade on here. Started cutting it indoors and it's throwing off a lot of super fine powder, so I'm going to bring this outside and finish up cutting the opening. But just kind of starting to gather some items to put inside, thinking about what I'm going to do. So very early stages of this. What I do like are these mini LED lights. These things are awesome. It's just like a thin wire. They really put off a lot of light. So this I will use inside the pumpkin to illuminate it. Okay, so I painted the inside of the pumpkin, and I basically used kind of a mix of different acrylic paints. I like Liquitex, but I used a variety of kind of dark purple and midnight blue colors. Whatever I had, some other lower cost paint. And then I did kind of more of a ombre modeled using a lot of different type of colors. The thing that bugs me a little bit about this is those factory mold lines on the back. I'm going to be putting trees in here and stuff, and it's pretty dark, so I'm hoping once I get everything in there, it'll kind of blend in, won't be as noticeable. But I cut the opening with the Dremel tool. And you have to excuse me, I'm holding the camera with one hand and trying to do this. But I used a cutting blade on the Dremel. It got pretty gunked up because this pumpkin's more of a plastic material, heats up, and so I'm going to have to clean that somehow. But I used a cutting blade, and then I kind of finished off the edges with the sanding wheel. So that did a really good job. And then, like I said, I painted the interior with acrylic. You could spray, but I didn't feel like masking off the rest of it. So I just used a sponge brush and the acrylic paint. So now I'm trying to think of what I'm going to put in here later. I've got these Christmas trees. I bought a bag full of these at a garage sale. I kind of carved a face in one. I'm going to spray paint these black. Just hold them outside real quick and spray them black, let them dry. I may put some beads in the eye area, you know, but these will sit inside towards the back. Okay, so I'm starting to fill up my diorama. Just getting started with this. Worked on a little tree. I carved some Christmas trees out, sprayed them black. Trying to go for like a face effect on that one in the background. Added some beads for the eyes, added a little red paint to that. The trees inside, aside from the prefab Christmas trees that are painted black, are pipe cleaner. Basically, I just bought a large bag of pipe cleaners. I gathered 6 at a time, and then I just wrapped up to form a trunk. And then you end up with, you know, branches that you could freeform and mess around with. There's a cardboard box on the bottom. That's all going to be covered up. So I'm going to go with this prefab Spooky Town graveyard that I'm going to set inside. I had a couple miniature figures I painted, you know, added some blood and stuff. I'm going to probably embellish this further. You can go on forever with this. Okay, so we're coming along. I set the little cemetery piece in there. I like how the bats turned out. What I did was I glued the wire onto the back of the bats, and then hot glued, twisted them together, and then hot glued it to the roof. So I may camouflage that a little bit with some. Okay, so we have Mr. and Mrs. Ghoul. They were the lone survivors standing in front of the cemetery after the giant spiders came and basically devoured the town. But now they're zombies. So they're the caretakers of the cemetery now. Okay, so I did a little more embellishing on the top. Just added some ribbon, and then I carried those bats that I used on the inside also to the top. I had just glued them on wire. I painted black behind there because they're not finished on the rear side, so I used black paint on the back, and then I just used ribbon and old bead I had, and then just added some purple paint on the outside. I may further embellish this later, but so that's the finished product. The only thing I think can use improvement is the downlighting. The purple lights give off a really cool glow in there, but the trees towards the back, for instance, there's a large tree with like a face on there. I think what I'm going to do is try to find like a LED puck light that I can hide up inside here to illuminate downward towards the rear. So I think that's probably, you know, the thing that's bugging me right now. So if anybody has ideas, please send me a message or comment. But looking for like a small little puck light with LEDs on it.